Welcome back. Today I want to talk about the ego and one of my favorite stories from the Mahabarata. This is at the end of the Kurushetra war, at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. The Mahabharata takes us back up, and the five Pandava brothers leave the kingdom and travel into the Himalaya mountains. So sit back, relax, as we venture with the five brothers as they make their way to heaven. So what happens is the war is over and the five brothers along with their wife decide that it's time to head home. It's time to head towards heaven, which lies metaphorically in the mountains. So they set off on their journey, and the first thing that happens, Draupadi slips and falls to her death. Sounds horrible, doesn't it? But what this really means is she embodies the Kundalini Shakti force, and she has started her ascent and she merges with the first brother. Now, the first brother is going along on the trip, they go up farther, and he falls, trips and falls to his death. He doesn't make it either. Again, horrible, but again, this is all metaphorical. This all has to do with the nervous system and the brain. Everybody in the Mahabharata is a piece of your nervous system, a piece of your brain. And when you read it that way, it just electrifies the whole tale. It's just a glorious, amazing thing. Sahadeva falls to his death. He is absorbed by the second brother, Nakula. Nakula trips and falls. He's absorbed by Arjuna, the third, the activating force. All this time, Krishna has been speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, telling us his tale to the third center, which is the driving force, the force in us, the drive to do yoga. Very important. Without that drive, we'd never do it. We wouldn't have the interest. That's why Krishna always speaks to Arjuna. But on this trip, Arjuna as well trips and falls and is absorbed into Bhima, the heart center. Bhima, in turn, trips and falls and is absorbed by Yudhisthira, the throat center. Yudhisthira is the only one who makes his way all the way to the gates of heaven. And when he finally gets there, he brings along with him all this time on the trip a dog. And those who guard the gate tell him, "You can't take this dog with you into heaven." To which Yudhisthira protests. He says, "This dog has been faithful. He's been my faithful and trusting companion all this time, and I will not abandon him now." And suddenly the dog himself turns into Vishnu, who escorts Yudhisthira into heaven. But you see what's going on here? I've said before that Krishna is the sixth center, the medulla oblongata, who speaks to us to go forth and meditate and win the battle of Kurushetra. This body only is Kurushetra, it says in the Bhagavad Gita. And Yudhisthira wins the war, makes his way up into heaven, merging with Krishna in the medulla oblongata. Merging with it, that is the medulla oblongata, and he merges with it. And for some time I was wondering, what is exactly that dog? What is the dog that's being abandoned? Was asked to be abandoned. So this is also a story about what can happen to you in meditation, how things can come to you through the gateway of the thalamus. Suddenly you will understand in a flash of lightning, that aha moment. So I'd asked myself this question a number of times, didn't have an answer. And then one day I was meditating and suddenly the answer came to me like lightning. And an aha moment in the medulla oblongata, and I realized it's the ego. That dog is our ego. And we keep that dog for the entire journey. And there it is right in the Mahabharata. So finally, we come to the gates and we're asked to let go of this false identity, this false self. But it's been our loyal companion all this time. How can we just abandon it into nothingness? Well, that doesn't happen. The Mahabarata tells us so beautifully that in that last moment, that false self is revealed to be nothing but Vishnu himself. That is, it's revealed to be just another piece of your own higher self. And knowing that, well, then it's okay to step into heaven, isn't it? I really love this story. It's just amazing. Remember, all the pieces of the Bhagavad Gita, all the pieces, all the players in the Mahabharata, it's your brain and your nervous system. And when you read it that way, it's just amazing science. People will tell you there's Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga. There's all these separate yoga, Karma Yoga, all these separate yogas. There's actually just one yoga. And the Bhagavad Gita is explaining one process, one yoga, and the stages that we go through during that transformation. There is only one truth, one eternal truth of yoga. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Thanks for sticking around. And I'll see you next time as we talk more about the Bhagavad Gita and that one yoga. All right, guys, take care.